I stared at the glowing phone screen while the harsh text message echoed through my head, freezing the warm morning air in my tiny kitchen. My own daughter had just instructed me to stay hidden in the guest cottage because my presence would allegedly ruin her grand New Year Eve celebration. For 3 long years, I had quietly endured her husband mistreating me, but being discarded like an unwanted shadow on a holiday was the final blow. Sitting alone at that small table, I realized my silent patience had only enabled them to treat me like a burden in the very home I helped fund. Moving into the small cottage behind their massive residence had originally seemed like a peaceful retirement choice after my husband passed away. I provided a massive chunk of money toward their mortgage down payment under the clear understanding that I would always have a loving place near my family. Instead, my son-in-law spent every day treating me like a house servant who was supposed to clean up after them without speaking. He constantly made degrading comments about my simple lifestyle, and my daughter passively allowed him to strip away every ounce of my dignity until I barely recognized myself. As the sun began to set, the loud sound of arriving cars and fake laughter echoed across the snow-covered backyard toward my quiet room. I stood by my small window watching wealthy guests enter the main house, carrying expensive champagne bottles while music blasted through the warm living rooms. My mind kept returning to all the sacrifices I had made to ensure my daughter had a secure future, only to be cast aside when she wanted to impress her pretentious in-laws. That crushing realization transformed my deep sadness into a clear, steady resolve that I had not felt in years. I walked over to my desk, pulled out my legal documents, and carefully packed my heavy leather suitcase with my most important personal belongings. Before walking out into the freezing night air, I sat down at my small table and wrote a short, calm letter explaining that I was leaving permanently and taking back control of my life. I walked up to the main house back door, slipped the white envelope into the mail slot, and stepped onto the driveway without looking back once. My heart pounded in my chest, but for the first time in years, I felt light and free. Instead of hiding in shame, I called a taxi and checked into a beautiful historic hotel in the heart of downtown where bright holiday lights covered the grand lobby. I sat at a quiet corner table in the hotel restaurant, ordered a wonderful dinner, and listened to a live jazz band playing soft music as the clock ticked closer to midnight. Surrounded by joyful strangers and warm ambient light, I felt an overwhelming sense of peace wash over my soul. I was no longer an invisible burden waiting for crumbs of affection from people who disrespect me. Just after the midnight countdown finished, my phone began vibrating continuously on the small table as multiple calls and panicked texts flooded my screen from my daughter. When I finally answered, her voice was shaking as she explained that my son-in-law had opened the white envelope thinking it was a holiday card or cash gift. Inside, instead of money, they found the official legal notice from my attorney stating that I was revoking my gift clause and demanding my full financial equity back immediately. Her husband took the phone and tried to use his loud, intimidating tone to convince me that the entire text message was just a silly misunderstanding between family. I remained completely calm as I told him that my generous financial gift had been tied to my peaceful residence, which they had officially broken earlier that morning. He began stammering helplessly when he realized that refinancing their massive home to pay me back would completely destroy their lavish lifestyle and social standing. I simply told him that my lawyer would handle all future communication before softly hanging up the phone. The following morning brought a bright white sunrise over the city, casting golden light across my quiet hotel room as I drank fresh morning coffee. My lawyer called to confirm that the legal process was moving forward rapidly and that my financial future was entirely secure and protected. I looked out at the peaceful horizon and felt a deep sense of relief, knowing that the painful chapter of enduring disrespect was officially closed forever. True strength is not about enduring continuous mistreatment, but about having the courage to walk away and reclaim your dignity.